you see this, Chris? Francis Ngannou is a free agent. He's out of his contract with the UFC. He turned down a pretty big contract, according to Dana White. You know how Dana White operates. He doesn't really let you know a lot of things. Dana White's already pushing this narrative that he just doesn't want to fight John Jones because John Jones now is fighting Cyril Gane. UFC 2.
Good fight.
That's crazy.
Good fight.
I'll get your thoughts
Cyril
on that in a second.
Cyril Gane's awesome.
Yeah, he's a
we'll
big
talk about
ass
that
Frenchman. I haven't seen a Frenchman that big in ever. But Francis Ngannou, the reason we're talking about him on a boxing show is because he's been flirting with getting into the heavyweight division. He's been flirting with getting into boxing. This ridiculous Tyson Fury crossover fight has been floated out there. I do not like that Francis Ngannou is officially a free agent when the Fury Usyk fight is not locked up yet. That scares me because you know that Fury wants to do it. You know Fury loves those types of fights. This ridiculousness. He's a guy that spent time in the WWE. He's brought him in the ring that time, Ngannou. I think Ngannou, I don't know anything about that. I don't have any insider information here, but I think Ngannou signs with the PFL, and they have this whole new super fight division. So PFL throws him a ridiculous amount of money. He does one MMA fight, and then he goes after Tyson Fury for a boxing match. And it could be made because PFL is exclusive to ESPN. Top Rank's exclusive to ESPN. They're all somewhat in the same family. Don't think it's going to happen, but I would not be shocked if that's the route. Like one MMA fight for Ngannou in the super fight, they find like a heavyweight that's not under contract with the UFC as well. And then they start banging the drum. Hopefully Usyk and Fury fight first, and we get that. So we do have that undisputed fight. And then Fury's the undisputed champion. I'm just really going ahead of myself here. But we see Ngannou, Fury. That's what he wants. That's what he's going to push for, I think.
We're going to see if they're going to be Dan Stradamus moving forward, but calling this out for way in advance. Hey, strategically, that all makes sense. I do not see the Tyson Fury and Ngannou fight ever happening.
I don't want to see it.
No. And so I was when you were talking about, no, I don't hope that doesn't happen. I'm like, don't worry about it. That's not happening. Usyk Tyson Fury is going to happen before Ngannou. But that being said, hey, Ngannou, apparently, I've talked to Ngannou in the gym many times. First of all, he's the biggest man I've ever seen in my life. And it's insane. He's got, his abs are as big as my head. It's wild. Each ab, it's like that big, huge hands, but super nice guy, loves boxing, loves boxing, loves the sport, loves to train it, loves to spar. But yeah, no, I don't want to say it would never happen because Tyson Fury is that much of a wild card. And that would be the only way that it could actually happen
money.
if he really pushed for it. Well, it's also a super easy fight for Tyson. It's every other heavyweight in the division would be more difficult than Francis Ngannou. Sorry, MMA guys. It's not going to be good.
I think MMA fans know this by now. Like they're kind of like I don't know if there's an appetite for this fight, to be honest. Like the crossovers don't work anymore. MMA fans don't want to see another one of their guys get starched by a boxer. For God's sakes, Jake Paul iced Ben Askren. Like we're MMA fans are over this. They know that there's two different sports. They know there's two different disciplines, but it's still a spectacle. It will still bring in eyeballs of the casual sports fan where, oh my God, the UFC heavyweight champion, because no matter what Dana White says, no matter what anyone from the UFC says, Francis Ngannou is the champion. He is the heavyweight. He never lost. Like contract dispute. He is the heavyweight champion of the world. I know they're going to try to not say that, and they're going to try to push all these different narratives and different fights. But Ngannou is the guy at heavyweight. So if they can match him up with the best heavyweight in boxing, put it in Saudi Arabia, I mean, I could see it all happening because we've seen like this story before. But that's just what I think Ngannou is gonna go for. Like if he just signs with Bellator, that's with Showtime, and I don't see that. This whole PFL with Jake Paul and the super fight division, the ESPN ties. That's just what I think will happen. Maybe it happens. We'll see. We'll see in the next couple of days and weeks.
Have you've been looking at your crystal ball, the Dan Stradamus?
Yeah, try to figure out the landscape. Like just a guess. Would you be shocked if that all played out that way?
I would be shocked if it ended with the Tyson Fury and Ngannou fight. Sure, that could be what they're angling for. If they signed with the PFL, that all makes sense. But I just actually making that fight happen, I don't see it.
As long as it happens after the Usyk one.
Because think about it, but we had McGregor and Floyd. I'm like, yeah, okay. Floyd was retired for 2 years, sitting on the couch, and McGregor was not the champ, not the best guy in UFC. Like people forget he was coming off losses.
Yeah.
Like he was literally losing in the UFC consistently, and then took this huge mega fight. We're talking about the heavyweight UFC champion taking on the heavyweight.
That's why it will sell.
Boxing champion. It won't happen. That's why. No, sure. That's why it's sub. But that's why it won't happen. Absolutely not.
I hope it happens. I hope it. If it does happen, I hope it's after the Fury Usyk, of course, because I think that's what fans want. Just give us Fury Usyk, give us undisputed, and then Fury, do whatever the hell you want. Fury, you want to do the WWE?
So then the undisputed boxing heavyweight champion is going to fight the UFC champion? No fucking way.
2023, no baby. This is what we're doing.
No way.
This is what's happening in this sport. I would not be shocked.
Yeah, that's optimistic Dan, pessimistic CA.
Well, I don't want it. I really don't want it to happen. I'd rather see Fury go on to fight, like Joyce or Joshua or Wilder again. Actually, no. There are a lot more other fights I'd rather see Tyson Fury and then Francis Ngannou wash out. It would be like a 3. He would toy with him. He would honestly box circles around him.
He would decide when he's knocking him out. But anyway, I mean, there's so many good heavyweight fights to happen in the sport of boxing. We don't need to go to other sports.
Yeah, I don't want it to happen, but we'll see. While we're on the topic of UFC, Jon Jones is back.
Love Jon
They're
Jones.
all gone.
Baddest man on the planet. Baddest man on the planet. I'm telling you.
So Jon Jones is back. Dana White is a master of the manipulation here. Obviously in the news for a bad reason. Hitting his wife, and the video comes out and it's awful. He lays low for about a week, and then he's back, and he gives this whole speech. I'm not going to get too much into that, but says, I'm not going to be punished. My punishment is being in the public eye as a wife beater. But then he goes and makes 2 fights, 2 huge announcements. Like Ngannou's out, Jon Jones is in, Cyril gone, Gaethje fight, and that's just how the UFC goes. That's just like PR 101. Just like kind of give him something else to talk about.
He understands the news minute is a minute, so you just got to lay low, let it pass, let it breeze over you, stay out of it, don't bring it up, come back, just apologize, move on.
One thing about Jon Jones, obviously I'm a noted MMA casual appreciator, and from what you probably know the same things here. They pride themselves, UFC, on the ranking system, right? It's like best versus best, pecking order, got to work your way up to the top. That's how we make our fights. Boxing is not like that. There's a million belts. Then Jon Jones, who's been out of the sport for 3 years, jumps the whole line. I still want to see it. Obviously, I'm happy about it. Fans are very excited about it, and it's awesome, and I will probably order the fight and watch it and be happy about it. But it's just funny that this is something that Dana White has parroted out there and talked about, how we have, they pride themselves on a ranking system, but Jon Jones just jumped the whole line because it's going to sell.
It's Jon Jones. That's why he is an anomaly for a lot of reasons, and he's above all that. He's above the rankings. His career has been full of ups and a lot of downs, ins and outs of the sport.
Everything, bro.
It's
drugs, PEDs.
Drugs, hot mics, incredible fights. Yeah, forget it. Disqualifications. Like the guy is arrested, multiple times. He's nuts, but he's awesome. He's awesome. He's the baddest man on the planet. In a street fight, he beats every living person in the world. I'm telling you right now, he is the baddest man.
What about Ngannou?
Yes, he beats him too in a street fight.
Street fight, like no rules, no DQs.
No rules, no DQs. I mean, because he's bad too. He's a bad man. That hot mic when he was talking to Daniel Cormier. Oof, he's a rough dude. He's out there to hurt people. Yeah, you got to look better. That's nasty.
Yeah, look it up. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, that's our UFC portion.
Yeah. That's fun. I like it.
That's our UFC portion of the show. There's some connections with boxing, and we'll see how it all plays out.